So, why the Sermon on the Mount? Right? Why the Sermon on the Mount? You know, when you go to any organization, even your schools, right? If you're working professionally or if you're in school, there's some kind of mission statement at each department. So even if you go to a specific school and you do PT or you do psychology or med school, law school, or all those top 3 choices, you can have each department has their own mission statement and why they do what they do and what they believe in, right? And if you work for an organization, before you go to an interview, you're taught to look at the core values of that mission, of that company. So when you go in, you throw 1 or 2 in there so you can sound good, look good, right? So we have that constitution. We have that mission statement. We have that core values that make us Christian. And you find them in the Sermon on the Mount. So the Sermon on the Mount, like Abuna said, is chapter 5, 6, and 7 of St. Matthew. That's where the details are. So that's our constitution. Some people also like to refer to Romans, specifically chapter 8 and 12, as also another way of looking at a Christian life. But for us today, Christians, we're going to be focusing on the Sermon on the Mount. So today we're going to do chapter 5, 1 through 16. So get your phones out, or hopefully your Bibles, but I use phones too, so it's okay. You can have your phones out, so that way, just put them on Do Not Disturb, because you can get text messages and all that good stuff, and it'll be kind of fun. So, I'm going to be doing some readings from the commentary of the Church Fathers, because I think it's important to know what they say, because if I'm trying to get to know you, yourself as a person, I'm going to surround myself with the people that know you really well, right? I'm going to ask the people that know you well, what are your favorite things they like to do? I'm going to engage with you on a personal level. So we read the first century fathers because they were taught through their teachers who were close to the apostles and disciples. A lot of them were from the apostles and disciples. So their commentary is very important to us. It's not just an old person sitting in a cave and decided that, hey, I think this means this, so I'm going to write it. It's actually more than that. It was studied and was lived. And so some of these things were shared by someone collecting letters. So if I'm sitting and I'm maybe St. John Chrysostom, reading, contemplating, I'm sharing a message with someone, so we contemplate these letters and we read them. So it's very important for you guys to know that. It's like someone that went to a school they want to go to, you're going to go ask them, hey, how can I get in? How can I make myself a strong candidate? What do I need to say in the interview process? Because I really want to go to the school, right? And so that person that went to the school before you as an alum, you're going to take whatever they say seriously. Just 1 second, just because my battery's about to die. Anyways, so you're going to ask them, right? What do I need to do? So this is the same thing for us. It's a little bit lengthy. Okay, so bear with me and then we'll go from there. It says, why did the Lord ascend to the mountain to deliver his teaching? That he might give us the heavenly commandment to his disciples, leaving the earthly and seeking the sublime. That he might bring the people with him to a higher life. That the highest teaching of the Father and the Son might be made known. To show us that whoever teaches God's way of justice must embody his own teaching from the highest of spiritual virtue. Hence, whoever today wishes to learn the mysteries of truth must go up the mountain of the church. Christ taught them according to readiness to hear both by his silence and by his speech. The severity of the law was given by Moses on the mountain, but the people were forbidden to draw close. Now, Christ are inviting us all to draw near to him of the gift of the gospel. It's important because Christ is already using a lot of symbolism to show us that if you want to become a Christian, you have to climb a mountain. So this picture right here, this is not like an actual, photo of the event, but it's people following Christ, and there's a multitude following him. So it wasn't easy. Just like some of you guys had to drive and go through traffic and get out of class and come here quickly. So it wasn't easy. To come to Christ, to understand the teaching, it's not easy. If you're coming today thinking it's going to be fun and easy, I'm coming to get stuff, or I heard that Christ, if you pray to him, he'll give you things, just like the multitude, sometimes they followed him because he fed them, right? Sometimes they followed him because he gave them things. And sometimes they followed him because they saw a show, right? They saw things happening that was supernatural. So the fathers teach us, or like I said, if you're coming here, right, for that stuff, you're going to miss the point. You're going to benefit, right? Like I want to graciously offer a whole bunch of snacks. You're going to eat, you're going to make friends, you're going to hang out, right? I was going to make a joke about friends. You're going, there's some of the guys that here that know me, I'm kind of blunt and I say things out of character a lot, so excuse me if I do. So you're going to come and want to engage, right? You're going to find new friends and find potentials and all that stuff. So, but that's going to miss the point. If you're coming here, right? If you're coming here to get things, you will get these things, but you'll miss the point. And then you go out from your life thinking, okay, ooh, church was cool. I came, I got stuff. I think I can do this Christian life. But then when you're out there and engaging normally without applying anything, you're going to wither away. So the Sermon on the Mount, Christ, again, I'm trying to start, and this is a big job for me to do other priests, and the speaker next week. I'm trying to start in your mind the evolution of why the Sermon on the Mount. Start in your mind the mission statement of why the Sermon on the Mount. So for you guys today, as you're sitting here, ask yourself, am I willing to climb this mountain? Am I willing to go to a new height? Am I willing to try something that's different? If you're not, which is okay, be real, right? Sorry if this sounds redundant to some people. I spoke about this last time I was here. Be real. Be authentic. Don't tell yourself things you don't believe in, right? Don't tell yourself just because you're not ready to change, right? You're not ready to forgive someone. You're not ready to give up this particular sin or particular hobby because it feels good, right? You're not ready to do something. Don't come and tell yourself, oh, I don't really believe in God. Just say, I believe in God. He probably exists. I'm just not ready. Be an Augustine, right? It's very important for us to be real, be authentic. Otherwise, if you're coming here today saying, you know what, let me see what this guy has to offer. We heard things about this guy. He's young. He's crazy. Maybe we'll listen to him. Maybe he'll change my mind. I won't. I won't change your mind. You change your mind. It's you that has to climb the mountain. Any questions so far? No. Great. All right. So, Christ sits and teaches. As we're about to read together, because I think it's important for us to read together. I'm not sure what the other priest will be doing, and the speaker next week, because he's not a priest. We're going to be reading together today, because I think it's important to read, and I think it's important for you to pay attention to certain words. Because if you're not paying attention, if you're not acknowledging what the words you're reading and what they mean, again, this is going to be just another 45 minutes to an hour of your time that you just have to sit on an uncomfortable chair and to listen. Try to apply yourself. Christ brings us to a new way of living. Before Christ, I want you guys to put yourself in the place of the Jews. Before Christ, there was only select few, okay, who can communicate to God directly, and who can prophesy, and who can do things. Like, we take it for granted now that we come to church, we go to the Eucharist, but before, it wasn't like that. You'd all be like waiting outside, and then Moses or a teacher back in the Old Testament, or any of the high priests, the Pharisees, will come out and teach us, right? And will tell us the things, and we just trust whatever they're saying is true, and we apply. But when Christ came, he said, before only Moses can go up and talk to me. Now all of you guys can talk to me directly. Right? Imagine, like, His Eminence or Pope Tadros or Pope Shino, if he's alive, he would give you his personal number. It says, text me anytime. Right? Many of us will actually take the opportunity and text them. Right? Have questions. Why did the church do this? Why is this not happening? Can we end our fast on the 25th? Like, you would text them, you would engage with them, right? Can I do this? Can I do that? You would engage with them, and you tell them about yourself, about your culture, and want to get to know them. This is what Christ is offering. He's saying, come as you are, with all your baggage, with all your personality, the crazy, the not, the good, the bad, right? Come to me and hang out with me and let's talk. Before, that was not a thing, guys. And this is why the Sermon on the Mount is essential for Christians. Because what he's about to teach doesn't make sense. Without the resurrection, right? Without the resurrection, without Christ, what we're about to read, especially the beatitudes, makes no sense. Without the resurrection, this religion is, excuse my language, is dumb. It doesn't make it has no value and has no merit without the resurrection. But with the resurrection, it makes sense. With the resurrection, He gives us an understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. Because you're about to read some things right now as if being an oxymoron, right? And keep in mind, as you're reading these things, He's saying, if you're coming to me, if you're saying I'm the Messiah, if you're saying you want to be a part of my life, it's not going to be easy, right? Imagine, the healthiest trainer walks in here, and because everyone now wants to eat healthy. During Lent, everyone wants to eat healthy and wants their protein and wants to work out. It's during Lent. Everyone loves it during Lent. Besides Lent, no one cares about protein. Everyone wants protein during Lent. Anyways, I'm just going to shout the guys, because most of the guys are wanting my protein. So imagine the healthiest person walks in, and you know that this person's Insta famous, and he's healthy, and he's fit, and he works out, and he's telling you know what, I'll offer free lessons for you. You can work out with me. I'll send you what you should eat every day. I can guarantee you can lose the weight you want to lose or get fit in 6 months to a year. Just text me. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to work hard. I'm going to push you. You're probably going to be in pain most of the time throughout your day. You're going to be sore. Who's going to say no? Everyone's going to take that free lesson. Everyone's going to take that opportunity because it gives you something that you really, really, really want. Which is what? That desired look. That desired health. We all make about health, it's not about health. You just want to look good. It's that desired health or desired look. Right? So, same exact thing. You guys are coming here, right, for a reason. Something called you here. If it's the stuff, that's fine. Just say, okay, well, I want stuff. This building gives me things. And this building stood time for thousands of years. Not this particular building, but the church itself. Thousands of years. 12 people, most of them were fishermen, who were scared and denied Christ, went into a room, Pentecost, came out, and they were not scared anymore and spread the message to a point of death and still passed it to us. Our parents came from Egypt. Pope Shenouda, may he pray for us and may we rest in peace. Sent people here, right? And it was originally Pope Kyrillos, but Pope Shenouda, built it up and sent us here, and we survived. And here we are. Right? We make fun of our parents. I'm sorry if there's any parents here. We make fun of our parents, we call them fob and all that stuff. But look, a bunch of fobs did it, right? And we can barely do anything. Our generation, but a bunch of fobs, they came and they built, right? And they barely spoke the language and went to the city and fought with the city, got permits. So there's something here. The Holy Spirit, what I'm trying to tell you is the Holy Spirit is working. So 12 people were scared, and they denied, and they ran, 11, and they ran, and they hid, right? But then the Holy Spirit came and gave them this courage, and they came out, and they preached. And here we are today, right? Keep in mind, the Roman Empire, and I know I'm going all over the place, but I want to give you the history, because when you go into the Sermon on the Mount, I want you guys to believe what you're reading. The Roman Empire, everyone feared the Roman Empire. Even the Pharisees, even the Jews. They subdued the Jews. The Jews was considered a big religion. They were afraid of them, and they said, yeah, we'll do whatever you want, just don't kill us. Right? The Roman Empire couldn't conquer 11 men and women, the Marys. Right? Because Saint Mary, after Christ, she was known, tradition tells us, lowercase t, tradition tells us that she had a house and she collected all the unwanted women, the virgins, and that's why we call Saint Mary. They just naturally picked up her name. So she had herself women. So women and men who were fishermen, they spread this message, right? And the Roman Empire couldn't. Actually, they say Pontius Pilate, again, I was talking about my father's confession, Pontius Pilate committed suicide because he went crazy, couldn't find the body of Christ, right? They went crazy because they wanted to show that the Roman Empire was losing their power, and they want to show these Christians, this man we call Christ, he's dead right here, he's his flesh. They could not find his body anywhere. Right? Keep in mind, this is not modern time. There was no jet that came and took the body and left, because he actually resurrected. So all this means something. So if you're here for the stuff is here because of this building. So ask yourself, just for today, okay, I'm getting stuff, but this stuff means something. So if it means something, I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind. So one day, when I'm ready to change, when I'm ready to follow these messages, the Sermon on the Mount, I'm ready to hear what Christ has to offer, right? I want you guys to think of Christ as your personal trainer, and we're all about to get in good, really spiritual health, right? And so what I'm about to be heard, what I'm about to hear is not easy. I'm going to do it because there's meaning to it, there's value behind it. Sounds good? Questions? Comments? Concerns? No? Okay. Let me check the time real quick so make sure before we begin. So get your Bibles ready. Okay. I'm going to do Matthew 5, verse 1. Chapter 5, verse 1. So beforehand, chapter 4, you saw the baptism of Christ. You saw Christ go go in the wilderness and get tempted. I'm not going to go into all that because you guys are reading these things if you don't read about it. And then he heard the message or the news that John the Baptist was martyred, was killed, and then he wanted to be alone with his disciples. And then he took his disciples and he turns around and he finds a whole bunch of people following him, and then he feeds them, and then he sits and teaches them. Okay, keep that. I'll talk about that. Why is that significant to us later? All right. Chapter 5, verse 1. The Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, one God. So we're reading the Bible, so try to have some reverence as we're reading the Bible. And seeing the multitude, he went up on a mountain, and when he was seated, his disciples came to him. Then he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God, sons and daughters. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they revile you and persecute you, and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For they persecuted the prophets who were before you. So these are the beatitudes. I'm sure by the beatitudes the attitude, be that attitude. This is the attitude you have to be. So if you're coming to sit with any Abuna, who is an Orthodox priest, any Abuna, and hopefully every servant that serves in Sunday school, they should be referring to this. So if you have beef with someone, I'm not going to go tell you gotta go punch him in the face. I'm not going to tell you gotta go drop them. I'm not going to tell you just go serve them, right? So keep that in mind as you're approaching priest, because people are often upset with me when we go against this. I'm like, I can't. This is our constitution. I have to follow this. So seated again to show Christ, trying to show to the Jews, I'm being seated because I'm teaching. In the Jewish culture, to sit means that you have power and authority to teach. Right? To sit means you have power and authority to teach. So he was trying to show them, I am the Messiah. I am the one you've been waiting for. I'm here to teach. Listen. Here, blessedness. I just got to come late to my talk. Sorry, I have to take on George. Blessedness is a form of heavenly blessedness. So blessedness is not, okay, so when people come, okay, I was going to Mama and Baba for like 6 months now. When do I get the things? It doesn't work that way. I don't have a timeline. It's not a DMV, it's not a transaction. You don't come and put in your application and 4 to 6 weeks you get your whatever you need to get. It doesn't work that way. Because sometimes we deal with Christ and we deal with the church in such a transactional way. Okay, Christ, I'll come, but like, what's the time? Like 6 to 8 weeks? I'm doing 6 to 8 weeks. I'm like, I don't know. Like when I'm praying over this, I'm going to fast. After Lent, I'm going to get my message. I don't know. Like, it doesn't work that way, right? So sometimes blessedness could be on earth. I'm not God. He sees it could be on earth. But also blessedness for sure in the kingdom, in heaven. It's like telling that trainer that walks in, okay, so when do I get fit? He's going to tell you, she's going to tell you, I don't know, it depends on your body, depends on your DNA, depends on your commitment, depends on your consistency, depends on a lot of things. Okay, fine. When will I get married? When I'll get the person I'm trying to show that I'm so cut and I want to, impress them. They look at you like you're crazy. I don't know. I don't control that. Like that's so. But then I guarantee you one thing: you're going to feel what healthy. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel like you walk up with a flight of stairs and not breathe your lungs out. Right? You're going to feel okay. Here's what the church is offering to us: come, be these attitudes. Things may happen on earth for you, but what's going to happen spiritually, you're going to feel okay. Spiritually, you're going to be sound. You're going to be consistent in your life, that if you don't get these things, you don't care. Right? If you get the job, if you get the person, if you get the career, the car, the school, the acceptance, the grade, this prestigious law school or med school so you can flex on everyone in church, whatever it is. You could get it, you could not get it. But if you're spiritually healthy, you're not going to care. Right? If you're spiritually healthy, you're not going to care. You're not going to care if you get this or not because you yourself are functioning well. So the blessedness here, because again, we're trying to set the Sermon on the Mount, we're trying to understand the Constitution. Blessedness here is not the stuff today. Right? So if you come, okay, I'm going to go apologize to my friend or my old friend for, studying their name. Don't expect that when you wake up tomorrow, like, there's going to be like $1 million in your bank account. It does not work that way, right? Or don't expect that those who wronged you will come and say sorry. It could, but that's not how it works, right? And so I want you guys to keep that in mind. So we'll look at the Beatitudes one by one, as much as we can. Blessed are those who are poor in spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven. Poor in spirit here means materially poor, okay, like poor material things, but also faithful in God's words. Faithful among God's people. That no matter how crappy or crummy your life is, you're faithful. Right? We all met those zamos and tons and titas and kitos, and sometimes within the youth, where like it could be like raining hell outside, and like, everything's good. Where nothing gets them down. Where they're always smiling. We all met those tatas. We had some of us had those tatas and mama. Like where you sometimes it's kind of annoying. Like, why are you always positive, right? And you just be pissed off. But when you go visit any monastery and you meet an elder, or if you visit any convents, you have a convent here, go meet the elders, the mobs there. They're smiling, right? They're living in heaven, in the desert, right? And I was talking about their journey. It wasn't easy. They're smiling. They're happy because they're poor in spirit, meaning they're just faithful among God, among the people of God, and they're faithful, and they don't have much, right? They don't have anything. And even they were telling me, and this shows how crummy we are sometimes. When they came here, some people offered welcome and see if they needed anything. They needed milk or needed like toilet paper, but they said we came and we didn't have much. That we were happy and rejoicing because we were doing the work of God. This is what it means to be poor in spirit. That when you're doing the work of God, and you're serving Sunday school, right, whatever it is, and the kids are throwing things at you or yelling at you or saying you suck or whatever it is, you're happy. Like, okay, I'm suffering for Christ. I don't have help, all right? I don't have enough material. The servants are supposed to be my co-servants. Don't show up, right? You're okay. You're not looking to have things work out in your favor. You're looking to be poor in spirit and just to serve. This is what that means. Verse 4, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. This is the one I get all the time. Okay, when will I get comforted? Right? When will my dopamine kick in and I will not be in this state of anxiety and depression my whole life? Like, when will I be okay? Right? This is me as well. The mourn here is not mourn in, your friends not inviting you to go to Disney or whatever it is, right? The mourn here is not you got stuck on the 91 or 10 or whatever it is and you missed the basketball game. The mourn here is not these things and say, oh, see, nothing goes well. Or come home and mama didn't make, the Impossible Burger correctly, right? That's not the mourning here. The mourning is in what? The suffering with others, right? The suffering with others. That when you yourself are suffering, you say, you know what? I'm going to get over myself a little bit because I know Bob here really is having a hard time. So I'm going to go hang out with Bob and just not worry about myself and just take care of Bob, right? Do we have any Egyptians in Bob? No? So I'm going to hang out with Bob and feel better. That's what mourning is. I mourn with those who are mourning. Actually, one cool thing in our culture, in our religion, because we can feel there's a lot in our culture, in the Egyptian culture, my dad and my mom often taught me, you should go more to funerals than weddings. You should go more to funerals than weddings. Meaning, be there, and if my dad and my mom, usually my mom is very good on this issue, if she finds out any of my friends, someone in their family in Egypt died and had a Aiza and I didn't go when I was you guys' age, she would get really upset with me. She's like, go, and when I go to the wedding, she was like, fine, but go to the funerals more, meaning mourn with others. Anyone can rejoice with anyone, right? We all want to be invited to weddings, right? You notice that we all want to be invited to weddings. And we get mad when we don't get that invitation. Have you ever wondered, do you ever get mad by not going to someone that you know's funeral? You have to make excuses for yourself. No, I was busy, school, final, traffic is far, I don't know them that well, they lived in Egypt, who cares, right? Don't make excuses. Christ is saying, no. Mourn. Look around you. You know yourselves. You can see when someone's mourning. Go sit with them. Suffer with them. Be with them. Get over yourself. Get out of yourself. Get out of your head. Suffer with them. Then you'll be comforted. Why? Because the Holy Spirit, then you're doing the work of Christ. The Holy Spirit in you will start to teach you what to say and how to be with them. That you yourself inside are going to be healed of the crap in your mind, of the stuff in your mind, right? You're going to be healed. You're going to, I'm being recorded, I'm sorry. I'm going to get fired. The stuff in your mind, it will go away, it will be healed, right? Because the Holy Spirit now knows that, listen, you're doing the work of Christ. I know you have this debt. I'll get rid of this debt so you can continue to do the work of Christ. This is why sometimes Christ doesn't remove certain warnings from us, because we're so selfish. Because if he removed it, we all met. I hope, it's not no one here. It has to be millionaires and billionaires. We're all mad. We all seen the celebrities as kids, snobby. They think they're entitled to so much. This is why Christ doesn't deal with us like that. He doesn't give you things because you're going to be snobby. You're walking around looking at that person. Oh, you're not smart? Sucks for you. You didn't get a UCLA or USC or God knows what. Yeah, because you're dumb, right? Whatever. And so you'll be making fun of others. And not knowing that the gifts you have are not even yours. The parents you were born to who are rich are not yours, right? The zip code you live to or whatever it is not the car that your mom and Bob bought for you is not yours, right? And so this is why you need to suffer. Suffer and you be comforted. So when you suffer with others, Christ will start to remove the suffering in your life. The Holy Spirit will remove the suffering in your life, so that way you can continue to do the work of Christ. So keep that in mind. That's what that mourn means. Any questions so far? All right. Number 5, verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Meek here is those who are okay with honor and dishonor. Those who are okay with having 1,000 friends or having one friend. They're meek. Those who are okay with having that, Flamignon from Fleming's or Mastro's, or having a bean burrito from Taco Bell. They don't care. They're just, as long as I'm hanging out. We all have those friends where you're happy to be around them no matter what you're doing because they just have a good spirit. They have a good vibe, right? Or a servant or an elder where you don't care what you're doing. You can literally be driving to Costco, right? Because sometimes I take my kids to Costco, my actual youth, And so we just have a good time at Costco walking around, right? It doesn't matter what you're doing. It just matters the company you have. That's what that's the meekness that we're looking for. Blessed are those who are meek, for they shall inherit what? The earth. Why? Because they're not a care. They're not a care. They're not a care if they have so much or don't have anything at all. So Christ was like, I'll give you the earth. Because then I know you're not going to be selfish and spoiled with it. You're going to share that blessing with everyone. Right? So I'm going to give you the earth because then I know you're not going to keep it for yourself. So if you're looking to have things, run away from them. And you'll find that they're chasing you. Kyrillos, my name is Kyrillos. For my name's sake, I follow out Kyrillos' teaching. I mentioned it to a few already, so I'm sorry if I'm being redundant. Kyrillos, he loved St. Isaac the Syrian. And so there's a saying from St. Isaac the Syrian that Kyrillos always kept outside of his alaya, his cell, or his office in his papacy, or wherever he was staying. And that saying was, if you run towards honor and glory, honor and glory will run away from you. If you run towards it, it will run away from you. If you run away from it, it will chase you. So he was trying to say is, don't look to be the most popular, the most fit, the most the most recognized, the most with followers, the most humorous. Just look to be meek. Look to just be with others who are not recognized. And honor and glory will follow you. This is why a man like St. Anthony was considered illiterate by many. Not illiterate because he can read and write, but it was in Greek. Now we offer praise and glory for him, right? Or monks like Tadros, or all these monks who were from Minya and Upper Egypt, and no one knows nothing about them. Now we know in America, like kids know about them, right? In America, Americans or Westerns, we know about them. Why? Because they ran away from honor and glory, and now honor and glory is what chasing them. The same exact reason why the Samaritan woman, we still mention her, or the woman that loved lunch. Because they didn't care for honor and glory. They shamed themselves in front of Christ and in front of everyone for the sake of just getting to know Christ. And this is why the woman that loved much, Christ told her, blessed are you, for every time this gospel is read or this is mentioned, you will be given honor and praise. Right? So keep that in mind, that if you want this type of things, run away from it, and Christ will give it to you because you'll be merciful in it. Verse 6, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. This, what that means is, if you want righteousness, if you want Christ, if you want teaching of Christ, if you want to know Christ, you will be filled automatically. It's not a physics equation that you have to solve to know the Pandora box to open for you to know Christ. It's not. It's very simple. Because this is why I often said, those who are simple will hear me, because I'm not complex. So if you're seeking righteousness, if you heard something about Christ, you read his interaction, often if you are that person who is looking to know Christ, read his interactions with, especially the Sundays of Lent. Read his interactions with people. That's your Messiah. Forget what we do sometimes. Just look at Christ and his interactions with humans. That's your leader. That's your Messiah. That's your God. Okay? That's what you're seeking. If you like what you're reading and you want that, he'll answer you. But those sometimes who want righteousness, they want it for the wrong reason. Again, they want it for the stuff. And so they don't see it in the stuff. I can't walk into a bar looking for Christ. It just makes no sense. And then I'm like, why? I went to the bar, you weren't there. I was like, really? I'm not there, right? So, like, if you want Christ, you'll find him in what? Serving your friends, serving the poor, helping others, in just, like, forget, reading is good, prayer is good. But Christ often teaches what? Service. Service, serve. I don't care if it's the homeless guy on the street, or your best friend who their parents are abusive, or whatever it is. Serve. So if you want righteousness, go to righteousness and you will be filled. You will see me, because I'll be with you. This is why St. Kishore, the perfect man we talk about, I don't know why I just did quotes. Anyway, the perfect man. We say he's a perfect because he was so meek and humble and he sought righteousness that Christ himself came and sat with him. Okay? So if you are that person, don't be surprised if you find Christ on the end of your bed sitting with you in your misery. Okay? Don't be surprised. Verse 7. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. This is very simple. I'm going to mention, if you're merciful to others, doesn't mean others will be merciful to you. It means Christ, when you approach the throne, he would say, you know what? You offered mercy to so many people. I don't care about whatever sins or whatever struggles you have. Come in. Right? And we have heard this teaching in the Paradise of the Fathers, where this one monk, all he did was not judge his brothers and not have contempt towards anyone, and he forgave everyone. And so, but he wasn't going to tasbihah, and he wasn't doing the normal things that monastic people do. And so his brothers were shaming him, and so they brought the abbot and said, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't wake up. He doesn't eat with us. He eats whatever he wants. And they're shaming. So the abbot went out with him. He's like, I'm trying to perfect that verse. He's like, once I perfect that verse, I'll work on the other things. He's like, I'm trying to be merciful and not judge others, so God can be merciful with me, right? And so this is the mentality that the church is trying to give us. Verse 8. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Pure in heart here is simple. Look at any little kid. Let me give you an age, because now kids are crazy. Who are maybe younger than 4 years old. Like if you're standing and watching like kids who are 4 or 3, sometimes 2, approaching the communion, watch them. Watch those little kids. Watch the kids. Sometimes when I'm giving communion to little kids, they're looking at me in such a way and looking above me and looking at them like, what do you see? Right? Because they're such a pure in heart that they literally see God because they're kids. But I also met adults who are pure, I met holy people who are so pure in heart that like an insult, I have to explain to them. Right? I have someone in my life that when he wasn't from here, but when he moved here, he was such a pure in heart that most Southern California jokes went over his head. And because a little bit inappropriate, he's like, what does that mean? I was like, you know what that means? He's like, yeah, I heard in a youth meeting and everyone's laughing, but I wasn't laughing because I don't know what that means. It was not really a good joke, but like I can explain it. He's like, oh, okay, no, never mind. But he was so pure that he didn't understand the basic dumb things we said. Because his mind was on God. That this person, I'm convinced this person sees things and experiences things that we don't know. Right? So if you want to see God in everything you do, have that pure heart. Don't try to know everything. Don't try to know the latest trends. Don't try to know all the jokes. Don't try to know all the tea, all the gossip. Who broke up with who, did what, who cheated on what, who got kicked out of school. Don't try, because all this junk fills your head. Right? Fills your head and takes you away from the purity of God. So nothing else is there for God. So if you follow that sense, let go of these random things that we do in our lives, right? You'll have this pure heart that's focused on God. You'll see God. You'll see God in others. You'll see God in your life. You'll see God in things you're reading. Life has just a new taste to it. Otherwise, guys, if this was fake, this was because I was away from the church for a while in my life growing up. I was just the age I grew up here. I was exposed to the same stuff you guys were exposed to. I am a boomer, but not that old. So it's every generation has its stuff. So what got me thinking is like, why the heck are some people happy sitting in a desert with nothing? And I have friends, I have things, and I'm miserable, right? And I was also trying to be healthy, right? And I had the health, and I had friends, and I had every Friday night, every Saturday night, I was that guy out, and I was just like, this all seems meaningless. And then when I go meet someone, because my mom was that person who was just bringing random people to the house, and I meet so-and-so, and I sit with them, they're happy, right? And they have nothing. And so that got me challenging myself. So I want you guys to challenge yourself. If this is weird, and this is fake, and this doesn't, there shouldn't be people giving up their lives, nuns and monks, and other people who are married, have kids, giving up their lives for, like you see people who serve here, the bookstore, serve the church, who have lives, who go to work, and yet they're here every weekend, all day, serving the church. If this was meaningless, it would make no sense for someone to give up their life. Right? Trust me, it would make no sense to give up your life if this was meaningless. Because they too have desires, they too have wants and needs. And so if that's not okay, then they won't be doing it. So if you're pure in heart and you don't chase the wrong things, you'll see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Here, and also for those who read the Bible, when it says men and sons, keep in mind, in the Septuagint, the Greek, there's no pronouns, right? So that's why you see wisdom, and if you read anything about wisdom, you see wisdom is referred to as she, right? God is a being, and the Holy Spirit is a being, and wisdom is a being. Like, there's no gender thing, even though it's a hot topic now, but like, there's no gender association. So like sons here is considered humanity. So if you are pursuing peace, right, you'll be called children of God. Because this is what Christ did. Christ could have easily said, these dummies, they keep sinning, let me just burn them all, let me start all over. Let me just get rid of them. He sought peace. He said, no. These are my kids. I love them. Let me empty myself from glory and honor and come, okay, and save them. Okay? So this is exactly what we need to be doing. Seek peace, and they be called children of God. Like imagine if what that means, what it looks like today is like if say your dad was Steve Jobs, okay, and you have an Android. It's a pretty shameful thing for the family, right? Or if your dad is a CEO of Google and you have an Apple phone or iPhone. It's not good for the family, right? It's not good for the family business. Okay? So same exact thing. If you are children of God, you wear the armor of God, you wear the characteristics of Christ, which is humility, love, forgiveness, servitude. So keep that in mind. I'm taking too long, right? For sure I'm taking too long.
Certainly.
Oh, no, actually, we're good. All right. Number 10. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I'm going to read the 10, 11, 12 together because they're one. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for there is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they revile you and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for they persecuted the prophets who were before you. So this is the good one, right? If you're following Christ, okay, again, look at that trainer coming in, he or she coming in, and they take you to the gym with them, and they're doing this workout, and you look goofy as heck. Right, you're doing this workout, and it looks so goofy, and you look at them like, really want me to do this? If I'm doing it? You're like, yeah, because they're like, I don't care, do you want the health? Do it. And so they're doing it, and they look at you, just do it, right? You're like in your head, like, no, I don't look like, because people don't laugh at me, right? Yeah, you're in shape, so when you're doing it, people think it's normal. I'm not in shape, so I do this. People are going to take a video of me and post it on YouTube, and God knows the rest, right? And so this is what we do with Abuna, but you're an Abuna, like, you can do this, I can't. We love to say these things. Abuna, you're a servant, or Janave, and we do these things. But Christ is Christ. He's God. He can do it. But Christ was also human, right? This is why the church is very, 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 very consistent on his divinity with his humanity. We repeat it all the time to say, yes, he was divine, but he's also human. So he felt what you felt. He felt the pain, he felt the suffering. So, if you're being persecuted, okay, rejoice, be glad. If someone's insulting you, smile to yourself and say, so that's what it felt like for Christ. Don't look to get them back. Don't look, okay, oh yeah, let me text your friend, tell you what you did last week, and I'll show you what's up. And so don't just rejoice, be glad. If you're persecuted for my sake, if you're doing something that looks awkward and weird, like those who come hang out with me when I walk into public, especially when we have like a group with Disney pass, we go to Disney, I'm like a walking attraction, right? Sometimes you think I'm a part of the Star Wars show and you want to take pictures with me. Really, when a kid asks me for a picture. It looks, and I'll be honest with you, when I first became a priest, it used to get to me. I hate being stared at like I'm weird, right? And so it used to get to me. And it used to really bother me. But every time it bothered me and every time it got to me, God in His love and humility showed me something significant where someone random would come to me and say, hey, you're a priest? And it would just start talking to me. Or like one time I walked into this shop, and it's such a small shop, and I was debating if I should put on my black or not. I was like, nah, I'll just go with my normal clothes, because yes, priests have normal clothes. I just go with my normal clothes. I don't want to be like, this shop is so small, when I walk in, everyone starts staring at me, and it feels awkward, and it takes forever to bring me the smoothie, and so I was like, but something in me convicted me. He's like, no, put on the black. So I put on the black, I walked in. Sure enough, I walk in and everyone's staring, right? And I'm sitting ordering, and I look down, and I can see everyone just staring at me, right? Because we live in a society now, we have a big cross, right? We live in a society where, like, oh, are you weird? Are you a pedophile? Are you, like, what, are you a Bible thumper? Or are you going to tell me I'm going to hell? So everyone's staring, and sadly, I can see their thoughts. And then so I'm about to order, and this man, just huge man, comes in, just cuts off. I was like, well, here we go, right? And so I just step away, and then he pulls out his credit card, and he says, I want to pay for whatever his order is, right? And his daughter was with him and said, thank you for all you do for us, we appreciate you, right? And they're white, like, I don't do anything for you, right? I don't go to their house, but Christ was trying to tell me something, that you are representing me, I'm with you. This is not fun, like you're representing me. And so sometimes Christ in His humility and His love wakes me up, right? And I promise you, every time I hesitate to put on the black and to go somewhere public, something happens. Something happens where people come and show reverence, and it's weird, but they're showing reverence in front of everyone, right? And so this is exactly what Christ is trying to say. Don't worry whether you're persecuted or not, right? Don't worry about what's in your mind. Seek first the kingdom of heaven. Understand that when you see the kingdom of heaven, I'll give it to you. I'll give you things, I'll make you see things that you never envisioned seeing. I understand that. Sometimes I see things I never envisioned myself of seeing. So when you are following Christ, you will be persecuted. Look at Christ. Again, if that trainer looks goofy, you have to look goofy. Otherwise, you won't get the workout done correctly. So Christ came and was spat on, was shamed, was insulted. Keep that in mind. He who created you, who will give you life, creation spat on him. Think about that. He who spoke and gave you life, creation spat on him, and He took it. Right? So that's humility. So you will be persecuted. You will be made fun of. Your friends are like, oh, you're holy now? You're reading the Bible? You're going to church? Like, what's up with that? Just come on. Because I was that guy. I made fun of others. I'm like, dude, stop going to this bad. Let's just go out. I'm like, oh, I promise you, to say that to people. Like, you think if you go to heaven or something, heaven doesn't exist, but let's go. Right? And then, so I was that person. So if people are saying that to you, don't get in your head. Like, oh, I saw you take communion earlier, you're trying to show your mom that you're a good person or something. Ignore all that. You will be persecuted. This is the double mimic, talking to people to insult you, to get you to react in a way to walk away from holiness. So when you're being persecuted, remember that Christ was persecuted. They're not treating. If your train looks goofy, you're gonna look goofy. If Christ was persecuted and spat upon, you're going to be hated. However, Christ also had what? Had the love of God and had the love of His disciples. So you're not going to be hated your whole life. You're going to have people who understand you and get you. So keep that in mind. Okay, we'll jump into. I may have to have Jesse do this because we're running out of time. Well, I'll talk about 13, 14, 15, and then we'll go from there. So we're almost done. I know. Being antsy. 45 minutes is usually the cutoff, right? Okay, verse 13. Let's read together quickly. You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing, but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. A city that sat on a hill cannot be hidden, nor did light a lamp and put on their basket, but a lampstand that gives light to all in the house. Let your light so shine before men, so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. What that means is, you have flavor, you have meaning. If you become like everyone else and their mother outside, you'll lose your flavor, right? Sorry to do this to you in Lent, but if you're eating steak and it's not salted correctly, even if it's the most well-cut piece of steak that's shipped from God knows where in a good steak, right? If you don't season it correctly, it's just another piece of meat. So Christ here is saying, this world is fun, is nice. I created it, I gave it to you. That you season the world. The world doesn't season you. This is where this generation loses this, right? The technology doesn't give you meaning. You give the technology meaning. The profile you have, or the friends you have, they don't give you meaning. You give them meaning. You are the salt of the world. If you lose your flavor, then how will you be seasoned? I'll just be thrown at you like everyone else. Keep that in mind. You're created with an image and likeness of Christ. Okay? For those who believe in that. You're created in such a way. You have salt. You have flavor. You're given to bring flavor to anything in your life. Your jobs, your families, your friends. That's why, and it's another famous response from everyone I talk to, when I don't be that guy or that girl that we're gossiping, I don't want to say anything because I don't really think like I'm judging them. And everyone's too good to say anything. Like I'm like really, but like before you do anything, you just go in. But now that you're afraid to speak with season, oh, I don't want to say I don't want to go to that party because if I say I don't want to go to that party, then they don't think I'm trying to be better than them. I'm like, oh, this is where you draw the line now. I'm like, no, say I don't want to go to that party. It's comfortable. If I'm telling, let's go eat Indian food. Everyone looks at me and is like, hey, you know what? I don't like Indian food. I'm actually very allergic. I'm like, oh, what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say? Are you trying to say Indian is bad? Are you trying to say like I judge me because I'm eating? I won't do that because he's allergic. It's not under his control. I know you're not.
How is one allergic to just Indian food?
I don't know, maybe a spice they're using. Anyways, so we're not a judge. I'm not a judge him. I'm gonna say, okay, you want to come with me? And he's like, no, because even the smell makes me want to gag. How about you go eat and I'll hang out with you later? As a Christian, if someone asks you, hey, you want to go to this party? And you know, God, you know really well this party, because we as cops, we throw some good parties, I know. We throw some good parties. We throw parties worse than the Western culture. So if someone's like, hey, come to the party, we're just going to hang out, right? And you know it's not just going to hang out, not food. I mean, we know it's going to be a disaster. Just, you can say, you know what, I'm not comfortable going to those places. How about catch up with you later? If that person thinks you're judging them, that's on them. It's not on me. It's not on you. It's on them. So if I start judging this dude for being allergic to a particular spice, I can't. He's gonna like, hey, you're crazy. You lost your mind. Do your thing, right? So please, if you're looking to be salt, be salt. Don't be ashamed to be salt. You're not saying, oh man, you're such a bad person doing that party, right? You're not saying that. You're saying, I am not comfortable with that, so therefore I do not want to go. This is what Christ is teaching you. He's saying you can live in this world, you can be different from the world. That's fine. You can live in this world. You can be. I actually used to do this in my. I used to work. I used to be a therapist, so I worked at UCR, and God bless UCR as a public school. So obviously everything has to be crazy trainings and the world that we don't really believe in. So sometimes my supervisor would come to me like, hey Thomas, that's usually my name. Hey Thomas, we have this training on LGBTQ couples and all this stuff. Would you like to go? I'm like, is it mandatory? Like, no, it's not. I don't want to go because I don't want to specialize in that. I don't find it a strength of mine or passion. And so they look at me weird, like, what are you trying to say? I'm like, nothing. I just don't want. If you tell me to go, I'll go. If it's mandatory, I'll go because I know Christ is not like, how could you? Like, if it's mandatory, I'll go, right? But if it's not mandatory, give it to someone else. I don't want to specialize in that. Because if he came to me and told me, when I go to addiction training, I'm like, oh, I don't want to specialize in addiction, I want to specialize in something else, he's not going to be upset. So don't be afraid to be yourselves, right? Do not be afraid to be yourselves. Because the devil is going to play with your mind. So be yourself, be a salt. Be a salt. Don't be afraid to say to your friends, I'm not comfortable with that. So how about catch up with you later? No, you're not saying, I'm going to drop you, you're a sinner, ton to approve of this. You're not saying all that. You're just saying, I'll catch up with you later. He's saying you're a lamp. You're a lamp, and you be on a lampstand. You're a light. You're on a hill. You cannot be hidden. You cannot hide yourself. You are who you are. Just be yourself. Be yourself. Be that shining light. Right? So they can what? Glorify you, glorify your Father in heaven. So when I put on that black, it wasn't about me. It was about what they saw in me. which is who's standing next to me, is Christ. Not me. They saw Christ. And so they saw representation, because I'm sure it could have been any priest walking in, or any pastor walking in, and they would have done the same thing. I happen to be the one who was edified by it. So again, you're doing the right thing for the right reason because of Christ. So when you come work out, hopefully you work out for the right reason, for your health. So that way you have good health. Not to show someone that you're stronger than them, or you're better looking than them. It's for the right health. And if you have the right mentality, it won't be weird saying no to others.